Please give a warm welcome to tonight's musical guest, Mortgage Freeman.
Just draw your line in the sand. Hope the water come wash away, and we can start again. Finally talk to each other, man to man, man to man, to 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 man to man. Was it all for the chase, or did you see each other in life? Like I was the enemy, secret you to the spies. You wanna rip each other apart, but if you ever bring that fury to me, then I'm gonna show ya the kind of man I can be.
What more could you want?
What
Could
more
you
could
could
you
you
want?
just keep doing that ending over and over like 7 more times?
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
I think
Hamming it up to the audience.
we need to start out, speaking of hamming it up, have each of you introduce yourselves on the mic, and maybe someone else in your band can say your name so we can know who's all in the band.
Sure, I'll go stage left to right. We got Dustin Cashew on guitars.
Oh, yeah. I'm Tracy, MT. Yeah. Hi.
Vocals.
I'm Chuck. I play the bass.
In the back, we have Clark playing drums.
And my name is Mike, and I play guitar.
Me mamo name Adam Gilmore. I play piano and sing.
All right, y'all. Audience, if you have any questions for the band, there's no cards on your tables. Feel free to write some questions up. Someone already has delivered a hot little missive to us.
The more personal and embarrassing, the better. Just let her rip.
Hot seat.
All right, well, let's launch into some embarrassing questions. Actually, this one's not so embarrassing, but I did realize it's been 4 years since you guys played on Local Live, back in the day when it was at Todd Weir Auditorium. And are you guys pretty much the same Mortgage Freeman that we experienced 4 years ago?
I'd say we've come a long way. Fun fact, that show, was that your first or second show, Tracy?
That was my first show, playing with Mortgage Freeman. And at the time, I was attending MSOE. So it was like, it was just like this whole, it was beautiful.
This whole beautiful thing.
Package.
Are we the same people? Yes, more or less. As a band, I feel like we have grown.
Okay.
Come a long way.
Yeah.
So you all were tagged as being a prog band quite a bit back then. Does that still fit you? Are there more prominent sonic elements going on now than just plain old prog?
We recently added a word to the genre that we feel that we embody even more, and I think it was theatrical prog.
Yeah.
That's
Theater
what we were
prog.
getting to. Theater prog. Yeah. I think it's
Oh, people like that. All
that's
right.
how we've grown. Yeah.
I'll buy
Even
that.
more niche. We find ourselves relying on a lot of musical theater tropes. We rely on just as much now the music of people like Meatloaf and Elton John as we do, the prog favorites, the heavy hitters like King Crimson or early Yes. So, yeah, we've come a long way, we still attack everything as the same people. We still have the same mindset going into our songwriting, going into our execution. We're prog at heart, but if people hear new things, it's great. I'm glad we've grown.
So what is your favorite album on, or what is your favorite song on Bat Out of Hell? Is it Paradise by the Dashboard Light, or is it the other one that's really good? What is it? It's escaping me right now. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well,
and why is it that?
I could list them all. I could talk about it all day. But really, if we come across as Paradise by the Dashboard Light, I would be really happy with that, just because it has that narrative quality that we really try and tell stories with our music. If we can tell as good of a story that Paradise by the Dashboard Light is as a story, which has one of the funniest endings of a story in a song, just hating your spouse for the rest of your life, like that's funny to me. I find that a comedic story.
It's fun.
I hope that's not what happens in like our real lives, of course, but that story is gold. So I hope we are as good of storytellers in that sense.
And it has a live baseball call. Do you guys do you incorporate any euchre calls in your music?
No, there's no euchre. There's a glaring euchre-shaped hole in the Mortgage Freeman voix. But I will say that our newest album does try and tell some stories with that kind of atmospheric nuance, where we're trying to. We have certain love themes scattered throughout that take place at different times in different places. One takes place during a Guns N' Roses concert at Giant Stadium in 1988 and you hear the roar of the crowd, and like it's supposed to be Slash on guitar. And then there's another one that's in a guy's car in 1999, and you hear this very tall Bachman, "She's So High Above Me" type song come on the radio while he's crying in his car. And stuff like that, that atmosphere really, I think, adds a lot to an audience member really trying to come to grips with what they're hearing and really enjoy themselves.
That sounds like the most incredible album I've ever heard in my life. By the way.
Wow. Well, it's coming out in like a month and a half-ish.
We're
so
going to
have a
get to
date
that.
soon.
We're going to get to that. Do we have some audience questions? Do we want to do some right away?
Actually, it ties into a question I was going to ask you about the whole like rock opera thing. Because back in the day when we did have you on that first time, you said you wanted to write a rock opera. And someone in audience land also wanted to know, are you going to write one? And what would it be called? So you have to give a title to the thing you just described.
It was done. It was called Time Lords, and it drew a lot on Doctor Who type of mysticism. There's one song that we wrote that was good enough that we were like, all right, we can make this work for the new album. We didn't finish the entire rock opera itself, but that one song is one we're gonna be ending with tonight. It's called Outer Planets, and we got some firearms. But that's the one song that we were like, well, if this is the last album we make, we gotta make sure people at least hear that song, and if we can still finish the whole opera, great, but that song's gotta get out there.
This sounds like the most amazing song I've ever heard in my life.
Wow, new fan.
Totally on board. Do we have some audience questions or?
We have a bunch.
Yeah,
I have a pile.
Oh,
a
stack.
pile.
Oh.
Let's get to one more. Someone out there wants to know, do you all write the music you play? Which I'm guessing is more of like, is the whole group involved in the writing process?
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
I could go on and on about like our songwriting process. I mean, sometimes it's Tracy, myself, Mike. Everybody here has brought something to the table at some point that we all try and grow out. I will say the most common thing we do is we finish the song and then say, okay, how do lyrics work? How do we say things that convey? Because when we write a song, we've said everything we wanted to say with the music. In my personal opinion, that gets the whole point across. And they're like, okay, how can lyrics support that? How can we keep saying what we're saying without saying the same thing? If that makes any sense.
Totally.
But yes, in the end, it's written by all of us. You know, at first it's one of us, by the end it's all of us, kind of thing.
Should we talk about the new record? You guys kind of alluded to it. Now, your last album, correct me if I'm wrong, came out about 5 years ago. Is that right?
That is correct.
And the one before that was 5 years too?
So,
No, it was 1 year before
right, yeah, it kind of
wow.
stacked, one right on top of the other.
Slowed way down.
So it's been 5 years. So my question is, what's the deal? What's going on? Where's the new album?
So I think that one thing we've kind of talked about is that individually we are all changing. We got people getting married, people buying houses, people just going through huge life changes, and I think that people selling houses, buying condos. Yeah, it's crazy, and I think that's been another thing that has kind of not really slowed down the album making process, but just kind of.
Yeah, I feel like we wanted to take our time this time around. I do feel like those first two we were really excited about the music, and we just went for it, and it came out, and it was great and everything. But I felt like this time around, we really wanted to take our time and do something that we were super, super proud of and happy with, and like showed us in our growth as a band. So anytime we thought we were getting close, it felt like we just got that much farther away. I don't know if you guys felt that, but.
Also, another thing that might have added to the time, in the last 5 years, we've been in 4 different recording studios. So, once we're in a new setting doing more recording, there are certain things that we have to re-record, because things sound different in different rooms. And so that was another kind of a road bump.
Have you been doing some work in Silver City for the new record? Is that right?
That's where 90 to 95% of this album was recorded.
All right.
Chuck,
do you know of anything that isn't in Silver City from this new album?
I think the first single we released,
Patterns.
Patterns, was done before we went there. But as we've been changing things and getting further away as we think we're getting closer, we've redone things at Silver City, and we continue to, except now we're done.
So these are a lot of songs
We're
you've been
done.
kind of kicking around for a little bit. Not something, or you're not coming into the studio and kind of writing on the fly. This is stuff that's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, and we do take our time. We typically do 1 to 2 pieces of a song at a time. I'll come in and just lay down keyboards. When I'm available, and that's another thing of 6 people balancing schedules while you're recording. You just record whoever's available that Thursday night. Oh, we've got Tracy and Mia. It looks like we're doing vocals. Okay.
I think at this point we've played every single track from the new album in a live setting, but we have saved a 1-2 punch for when we release it at that live show that we have not played and we're really excited to play, but we're holding off until the last moment.
We've done that before. We've done album release shows where we saved specific songs, so we had a big gaggle of personnel on stage to nail it.
All right, you guys. We're gonna mix it up and throw it back to some songs, because that's how we roll here, is song, interview. So you guys have 2 that you're gonna play in a row for us
We'll
next?
do 2 off the new album.
Okay. Can you lead us into the next one you're gonna play?
Okay, the next one's called I'm Good, and this is kind of speaks to the main theme of the album. Is we wanted to do a breakup album, like Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, but Morgan Freeman. That was a big inspiration for me. Lake for the Sky by Jackson Browne was another big breakup feel influence for me. So I'm Good is a breakup song, and then the next one, Above and Beyond, is also a breakup song. And I'm Good is more about when you're just I'm done, I'm good, it's over, I'm done, I'm good. And then the other one, Above and Beyond, is just, it's also I'm good, but I couldn't write that song again, so it's called Above and Beyond instead.
Thank you. All right, once again, give it up for Mortgage Freeman. We're broadcasting live from Club Garibaldi tonight for Local Live.
First meet and it's total gangbusters, trade jibes back and forth before we trade our numbers. Started out so whimsical, now it's getting a little physical. We the way that we are, you and I. A life in a cookie jar. You are quite the individual, making some mystical material. I
You need water for the table? No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mortgage Freeman. That was awesome. All right, if you're tuning into WMSE right now, you're listening to Local Live with Mortgage Freeman, who are rad. I think I wanted to point out, you guys have earned a reputation for your live performances more so than your recordings, because your live performances are totally dope. And are there any particular visual elements you plan to incorporate into your actual recorded release to amp up things and really bring it to life? Give it that live performance treatment.
Big part of that was vocal delivery for this new album, focusing on opening up, taking a step back from the mic and really belting it and seeing how that sounds. Bouncing a lot of different vocal ideas off the wall was a big part of trying to bring that to life. That's something that I always wanted more out of listening to the earlier albums, thinking, man, there's 100 different ways I could have tried singing that or tried doing something. But that's what I guess I personally focus on. I don't know about how you guys feel.
I agree. That's all. I agree.
We are in agreement.
That's
There's
good.
so much happening in the music already. It's, it is prog, that element of prog where you're on an adventure and you might be in 5 different environments within a song. So, the sound is really something to try to focus on.
We didn't even have lyrics on half the first album, so if that says anything.
Yeah, the vocals, it goes beyond just being a part. They really got to compete. They got to fight for their place in the battle dome,
Yeah. So, any ideas for this release that you're doing with the actual album artwork, jacket, anything kind of?
We got band outfits for the first time ever. We just buckled up and committed.
Uh-huh.
We bought nurse's shoes. We bought chef pants. Surprise. It's already in the. You posted the pictures online, Clark. There's no surprise.
We've seen them.
We bought nurse shoes. We bought chef pants, and we bought golf shop polos. So it's a real blue collar look to our uniform.
It's kind of got a high school jazz band look to it.
Yeah, that's what we were going for. Perfect.
That's the last time I was in any kind of professional outfit, so yeah, that makes as much sense as anything.
I was gonna ask you if you were
babes.
were you in high school jazz band?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Big deal.
I was in a
Big
bunch
deal.
of Wisconsin jazz bands. Oh yeah.
So, rewind 15 years or whatever, and you are in high school jazz band. Would you have seen yourself in a band like Mortgage Freeman?
Absolutely.
Cool.
110%. Yeah.
I didn't play guitar yet, but
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Tracy's the lono there.
Yeah, and I was a huge fan of alt rock and kind of ambient alternative rock.
Those briny
And so,
80s albums.
yeah, these guys got me into the hardcore stuff.
Don't make it gross.
Yeah, okay.
I was a sophomore in Eau Claire Memorial High School, and we went to the Mabel Tainter Theater in Menominee, and we saw the Bad Plus play from one of their early albums, and I was like, that's that prog element. I need that in my life, and really committed right then and there. The Bad Plus was a big part of that.
Now everything's kind of falling into place for me. That makes total sense. Bad Plus is awesome. So
yes, we are all big fans.
I feel like right now it's time for we're just going to run through some audience questions because we got some really nice ones here. So it's going to be one right after the other. So here we go. Favorite gas station snack?
Not pulled pork.
No. Or gas station sushi, something to look out for. Especially if it's Sunday, because that wasn't delivered in the last 2 days at least.
Muddy Buddies.
Muddy Buddies are good.
All right, here's a real involved one.
Any combos.
The band lands themselves in a real Lord of the Flies type situation. Who is your Ralph and who is your Piggy? Piggy's the one that got the boulder dropped on him, right? Am I remembering that?
I'm probably Piggy, let's be honest. Honestly, the rest of the band's Ralph, and then I'm Piggy, and I get a boulder dropped on me.
Now, here's one that was a very nice question, I think. And even though some of you have mortgages now and you work long hours, after 10 plus years, what motivates you to find time to play together?
Because I think before we're bandmates, oh gosh, this is gonna be cheesy. We're friends. We're friends before we're bandmates. So when we're getting together, it's a good time because we're friends. You know, I don't want to get too juicy or cheesy with it, but
We love each other.
We do love each other. You gotta love people a lot to spend like 6 hours of your very busy week with them. So the love helps for sure.
yeah. And we all like playing music as well, so that helps.
I think you had mentioned it too before that scheduling and personal lives have changed over the years. I mean, how difficult is it to just get together to play, like, let's say this show tonight? I mean, is there a lot of moving around on individual schedules? Is it tough? How is it?
My work schedule was tough today. I know Clark is a kegger for Lakefront Brewery, and that usually runs him pretty late. If you're drinking Lakefront beer off the tap somewhere in the world, there's a 50-50 chance he put it in that tap.
Woo! Give it up.
God bless you, sir. God bless you.
I would say we're a once a week get together kind of group. If we have a show coming up, we'll try to do 2 in a week. But our godsend over here, Chuck Zink, he's done a lot of the recording and mixing. In fact, almost all of it. I think all of it. I'll just say all of it. So he'll spend some time, on his own time doing stuff as well. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, what you see live is a band effort, but really the glue is Chuck. He records everything. He mixes everything. He is a dog.
But these guys make the time to come every week, whether it's Mike and Clark or Adam and Tracy or me and Dustin doing whatever. They're always every week. It's been very consistent. For the time we haven't put out this album, we've been pretty much getting together every week.
I know the listeners can't see this, but we're all just shaking hands and high-fiving right now, just smiling and just like
And tearing
patting
up
each
a
other
little.
on the back. It's great. It's super lovey-dovey up here.
I know you can't see it at home either, but Chuck, you are wearing a Michael Nesmith and the First National Band T-shirt.
I am, yes.
And my God, thank you.
Magnetic South. It's one of the greats, one of the lost greats. Red Roads on that pedal steel.
That's right, yeah, pedal.
It makes you feel things.
Speaking of feeling things.
Should we do a couple more songs? Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
So we thought long and hard about what we want to do. We haven't been on for 4 years, so we decided to pull 2 from the first album, 2 that we did on Local Live. I don't know that the first one, San Antone, I don't think we did it the same way we do it now. We've changed the way we play this song over the years. Might not be the same. And the other song,
It's sexier is what it is.
Sexier is what it is. And then the other one, Day and the Night, this was the first song that Tracy had to learn all the vocals in less than a week for the first time. She's had a little bit more time I don't think we've played it since that show.
Right.
So we popped it on her again, and so hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Way
we
to
sound
throw
better.
the spotlight on me for that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the first one's called, it's originally called San Antone, but now we call it Slow Tone.
Slow Tone.
And then the second track is called Day and the Night.
And the Day and the Night, quick shout out to Pat and Jim Gilmore if they're listening. This is based off their favorite movie that they showed me, 1987, Lady Hawk, starring the late Rutger Hauer. Every lyric from this song is taken out of the script from Lady Hawk.
But
Because that's how I wrote songs in 2010. Oh man, we are just hitting all those sweet spots with Matt today. I'm loving it. Okay, first one. Jack and Judy all went to gather up some stone. Had to bury a friend in Reno on their way to San Antone. Looking for direction, what they needed was some food. So I gave them a place to spend the night. In the morning I told them it was time to move. Got people telling me, it's all my fault, I hear what I cannot hear.
stumbled onto a tragic story. Like it or not, you are lost in it with the rest of us. Well, I know that I promised, but I know that you know what a weak-willed person I am. I got prospects, my golden future. Better turn around for a second and your shoes are gone. Look at us and both of us hold my ground. Maybe I'm dreaming, but my eyes are wide open. Maybe I'm awake, dreaming I'm asleep. Maybe I'm asleep, dreaming I'm awake. Wondering if I'm dreaming. Well, I've not seen what I see. Now that I believe what I believe. Does this walking corpse have a name? She might wander into my dreams. Would it be nice if I could call her by name? Everything we met before. As long as that sun sets. As long as there's day and night. As long as we both shall live. Always together, eternally apart. As long as that sun sets. As long as there is day and night. We are loved in different ways. Her heart was lost to the captain. A weak and foolish priest betrays. The two shared a confessor. A consumer's heart is set ablaze. His heat could only be beat by the summer. An evil man, a powerful man. Love means to damn the lovers. Cast a most nefarious curse. All kinds of pleasure derived from their pain. Never touching in the flesh. Agonizing moments. We are loved in different ways. Strange ones that work in your life. Magical ones that surround you. And I can't even try to begin to understand them. You have given me my life. And the truth is, I cannot repay you. I have no honor, and I never will have. And you won't kill me for who I am as long as that sun sets. As long as there's day and night. As long as we both shall live. Always together, eternally apart. As long as that sun sets. As long as there is day and night. As long as we both shall live. Always together, eternally apart. Thank you, I see that now. I swear to you, he hasn't forgiven you. Just makes you mad.
Driving you mad. Just makes you mad. Oh man, just makes you mad. Mad, 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 mad. Mad, just makes you mad.
Just makes you mad. Just makes you mad. Driving me mad. Just makes you mad.
Mad, 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 mad. Mad, just makes you mad. Oh man, just makes you mad. Driving you mad. Just makes you mad. Mad, 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 mad. Mad, makes you mad. Driving you mad. Just makes you mad. Driving you mad. Just makes you mad. Mad, 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 mad.
Working up a sweat.
All right, Mortgage Freeman, you've been rocking out so hard that we're like nearly done with our hour of local live, which is amazing but sad. So I know you've got a couple songs you wanted to play for your set to bow out, right?
We got one more.
Which song were you gonna play?
We're gonna play Outer Planets for Matt.
Okay. Before we do that, should we sort of sign off to send everyone out, or would
It's a doozy of a song.
We're gonna go over that hour with the song, so we should say goodbye now.
Okay. Well, we're gonna ask you a couple more questions before we jump into your final song of the night.
Sounds good.
Well, tell us about the new album. Let's hear more about it. Do you have a date? Do you have a name? What do we know? What don't we know?
It's coming out. Do you have a date when it comes out?
It'll come out in October, and we're working out the release show date to be early November.
But you can find us now. We finally got all our stuff on streaming. So if you go to iTunes, Spotify, if you're Pandora, whatever, if you stream, you can find Mortgage Freeman now. Finally,
as of today. So our first two albums went up for streaming today, which is really cool because we've never had that and we didn't do that before.
But the new album is going to be called It's All a Wash. And it's, like I said, it's going to be our breakup album in the Jagged Little Pill type of breakup album kind of vein. That's what we were going for.
Perfect fall album.
So yeah, if you follow us on the social medias, we'll tell you when those exact dates are soon.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. This sounds like the most amazing album I've ever heard. Mortgage Freeman, thank you so much. We're gonna hear one more, but should we say goodnight here?
Yeah,
Erin?
we should make it official.
Bid adieu, yes. Let's do it then. Tonight's edition of Local Live on WMSE is supported by a donation from Club Garibaldi, located at 2501 South Superior Street in Bayview. Club Garibaldi offers a full bar, burgers, wings, and more, in addition to lots of live events. More info at clubgaribaldi.com. Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, broadcast tonight from Club Garibaldi. Go figure. Please give a hand once again and to the incredible, to the one, to the only, Mortgage Freeman. Amazing.
And also, real quick, want to let you know Local Live is produced by me and Cal Roach, who is not here. And we've got special guest co-host tonight from Matt Wild of Matt Wild from Milwaukee Record. Just give him a big hand. He's been really great.
No, you don't have to do that. Don't do that. But thanks anyway.
And also tonight's segment was engineered by Billy Cicerelli, who you can't see. He's hard at work in the basement here. And assistance from Club Garibaldi's Sam is behind the board tonight. All video by Moleskin Productions. Thanks again to Mortgage Freeman, the great crowd, and everyone at Club Garibaldi. Next week we got Haunter on live, so tune in at 6 again for Local Live. And Mortgage Freeman, you want to introduce your final song of the night?
So this one's called Outer Planets. It's the Lost Time Lords track for the new album. This goes out to Matt Wild and all the new Mortgage Freeman fans out there listening.
wasting my time. By come what man, looking for light amongst all the stars, looking for hope, finding nothing so far. Solar system before me, but my home stays hidden. Just like the missing pieces of my puzzle heart. Now my soul is silent, guided by a multitude of chest novas and nebulous
Thank you for tuning in to tonight's edition of Local Live on WMSE. Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, recorded and broadcast live from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio on the downtown campus of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Local Live is produced by Erin Wolf and Cal Roach and engineered by Billy Cicerelli. All video by Moleskin Productions. Hospitality for Local Live artists is provided by Cedar Teeth Pizza, who can be found online at cedarteeth.com, Anodyne Coffee Roasting Company at anodynecoffee.com, and by Sprecher Brewing Company at spreckerbrewery.com. For Local Live videos, follow us at WMSE Milwaukee on YouTube. For upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live performances, visit WMSE.org. And tune in again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another edition of Local Live.